Welcome to King Grunn. Hope you're excited. As far as opening hand goes, yeah, let's go to Mulligan. We've got one land, but other than that, I love this opening hand. But yeah, one land's not going to get it done. Let's go to Mulligan on this one, and then, ooh, I'm going to keep on this one. Now, what we can do is we're going to have the land drop to hopefully get down Grunn, but this is going to leave us with Hunter's Inside. Man, this is really clunky. Yeah, let's go one more Mulligan. I'd rather Mulligan into just one ramp piece or something. And then Hunter's Inside's like, nah, I'm not going anywhere. All right, so it was meant to be done. So hopefully we can win with Hunter's Inside. We're going to keep on this one. See if the scry is. Yeah, definitely put that forest on top. And then we'll be able to get down Sylvan Safekeeper and then go from there. I should play against Mogis, God of Slaughter. So, should be an interesting match. I actually just played against Mogis, so should make for fun. I was going to get down Forest. I was going to get down Sylvan Safekeeper. And then, anything else, we're going to go and pass the turn to our opponent. All right, there we go. We're playing Grunn, the Lonely King, but he doesn't look lonely in this particular thumbnail or overlay. I wanted to make him not look so lonely, like he's just hiding out in the forest. So that's why I went with the sky background and the nice, the lighter highlight. I wanted to make him not look so lonely and just kind of freshen up the place, give him some fresh air. We're playing Grunn, the Lonely King, kicker 3. So we're looking at 9 mana to get the full utility out of Grunn. That's going to be Appetite for Brains. Choose a card. Great. Yeah, go for it. I'm going to whiff on that one. If Grunn was kicked, it's going to enter the battle with 5+1 counters on it. Then, whenever Grunn attacks alone, and alone only, with that big monkey hammer, its power of toughness doubles until end of turn. I'm playing against Mogis, God of Slaughter, or God of Metal, if you're a fan of the channel. Let's see what our opponent's going to go for. All right, there we go. Pass it over. So we're going to get the forest down. Yeah, we're not above a Hunter's Insight to get a little bit extra card draw. I'm just going to swing in for 1 with Sylvan Safekeeper, and also not above going for sending in Sylvan in for 1. We're trying to get our opponent's life total down to 0, and then we're going to go and pass the turn. Playing against Mogis, God of Slaughter. It's going to be Indestructible. Devotion 7 turns into a creature. Then, at the beginning of each opponent's upkeep, Mogis deals 2 damage to that player unless they sacrifice a creature. Now, with this particular build of the deck, we're more than likely going to be... we'll be taking that damage most of the turns, unless our life total gets down really low or something like that. Most of the time, we're just going to do that. All right, drawn to Hero's Blade. Let's do this. Let's go and get Forest down. Yeah, let's go and go for Hero's Blade. It's clunky, but if Hunter's Insight had to stay in our hand twice, and we're going to have to use it, what we can do is go for Hero's Blade, equip that onto Sylvan's Safekeeper, and we're looking at 4 mana, and the next turn going for Hunter's Insight, but it's something we can do. That's 4 card draw for that, so it's something we can definitely work toward. Let's see if this is going to resolve. All right, there we go. It's going to swing in for 1. It's going to put our opponent down to 28, and then we're going to go and pass turn to our opponent. But yeah, as far as this particular deck, it's kind of like it's like Commander. In fact, we're going for 21 Commander damage. We do have a lot of instant spells in here that give Grunn either Trample or +1/+1, so it's going to give it just enough combat damage to close the game out if we do get it kicked. So not something we have to work towards. I have had a few games to where we have to get down Grunn at 6 mana instead of going for 9 mana. But when you have those mono green god hands where it's just like Cultivate into Kodama's Reach into Thran Dynamo, ends up being a really, really explosive game, especially when you start swinging across with Grunn. And we also do have some instant speed protection for Grunn, so it kind of puts our opponent in this spot to where we're going to try to go for lethal, and then we're like Ranger's Guile and a bunch of different little stuff like that. So you end up building a pretty good stack with this deck, especially with it being mono green. And I think that's what makes it so much fun. All right, opponent's going to go for Read the Bone, Scry 2, then Draw 2, and lose 2 life. See what we draw into Utopia Sprawl. Let's do this. So let's go ahead and go for, we'll tap the forest down. Let's go ahead and go for Utopia Sprawl. It's going to be 1, 2, 3. Either way, we're still online for that. Yeah, we're just going to tap out on this forest. I mean, we're still kind of technically making the land drop with Utopia Sprawl. And with us playing against against black and red, we don't have to worry about any sort of enchantment destruction. We're going to choose green on this one. And then once again, let's go and push it in with Sylvan Safekeeper. We've got that 25 turn clock established on our opponent. I know they're shaking in their boots, desperately scrying with Read the Bones to stop the onslaught that is Sylvan Safekeeper, but no, it will not be stopped. But yeah, outside of that, like I was mentioning earlier, we can't go for Hero's Blade if we don't hit the land drop, which we probably will end up going for that. And then if we can get that mana going, we'll be going for Hunter's Insight. Now, one of the things that I definitely want to get done with Hunter's Insight is, there's going to be some turns where you double Grunn's power toughness. It's just a 10/10. But for 3 mana, drawing 10 cards, whew, makes for some pretty good magic. All right, opponent's going to go for Mogis, get that down, and then pass the turn to us. All right, we're going to take that 2 damage. We're okay, Mogis. He's going to be slamming on that bass guitar, getting that going. All right, and we do draw into Forest. Let's go ahead and go for Forest. That's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, we're going to equip Sylvan Safekeeper. It's going to be 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then, 4 cards. That's not bad drawing that. All right, let's go and swing in. coming across, it's going to be 4, and then put our opponent down to 21, and then we're going to go and pass the turn to our opponent. Now, with Awaken the Bear, that's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If we hit the land drop, we'll actually be online for Awaken the Bear and Hunter's Insight, which is going to be us drawing a fresh group of 7, which I'm more than happy with doing that. So hopefully, fingers crossed, we do hit a 4. So we are running 38 lands in here. So if we can hit that land drop, that'll put us online for, drawing a fresh group of 7, kind of like Treasure Cruise. Not Treasure Cruise, but what is it? Okay, opponent's gonna go for Beseech the Queen. That's what it was, Dig Through Time. That's what I was trying to think of. Yeah, like Dig Through Time, but except we don't have to just pick 2 of them. We get to look at 7 cards and then draw them into our hands. So, but yeah, I miss Dig Through Time. I don't know if, if you played Magic long enough, eventually you play in a format to where one of your favorite cards gets banned. And Dig Through Time is definitely one of those cards. If you didn't play Modern during the Treasure Cruise Dig Through Time era, it was man, it was the Wild West of Modern, man. It was fun. You had people splashing Treasure Cruise in like a birthing pod build. If I remember correctly, I think I remember seeing that. And I don't know, it was just like Modern just lost its mind. And it was some fun Modern. You saw a lot of Delver, you saw a lot of young Pyromancer, and it was just busted, but it was fun busted. When we had Eldrazi Winter, that wasn't a lot of fun because Eldrazi were so powerful. But with the Treasure Cruise era, man, it was just like it's like the 70s of Modern. I don't know if that makes sense. It was just kind of like, yeah, man, just draw a bunch of cards. Why not? Jund was on the bottom, and that was really good. That was a really good feeling, having Jund down on the bottom. All right, we're not going to sacrifice a creature. And I remember seeing a meme about that. All right, would you draw into the land? Wonderful. And I kind of explain that in a second. Let's go and get the forest down. I like going for this line of play. Let's swing in. That does kind of leave us open. Let's go ahead and go for Sylvan Safekeeper. We're going to go ahead and push in on this one. And we're going to go for a Hunter's Insight on Sylvan Safekeeper. It's going to be 1, 2, 3. And then let's go ahead and go for Awaken the Bear. That's going to be 1, 2, 3. All right, there we go. Swinging it for 7. We're going to be able to draw 7 cards off of that. Oh, yes, there we go. Fresh grip. And we already made the land drop for the turn. Anything else, we're going to go and pass the turn to our opponent. All right, so now we're kind of starting to bust this open a little bit. We are going Sylvan Safekeeper Beat Sticks. I know that's what you thought of when you clicked on Grunn video. I cannot wait to see Sylvan Safekeeper start swinging with Hero's Blade, but this is the game this is Magic. It gets into the sub game sometimes. But as far as what we've got going on, this is pretty good. It's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 with the land drop. So we'll be able to get down Grunn and start swinging in. Our opponent is sitting at 14. So if we can get some good amplifying effects on Grunn, we'll actually be in a pretty good spot. All right, opponent's going to go for No Mercy. And now that I think about it, so we do have Predator Strike in the hand. That's going to be 5. So we've got an additional 5 on this one. So we could potentially go for Sylvan Safekeeper, closing the game out. We'll see what else our opponent's going to get down, though, because we have to do it in one swing with No Mercy on the battlefield. And going for Grunn was definitely a good way to kind of do that. Now, whenever a legendary creature does enter the battlefield, so what we can do is we can swing in with Sylvan Safekeeper, get that Hero's Blade on. The opponent's going to go for Devour in Shadow. Destroy target creature, it can't be regenerated. You lose life equal to the creature's toughness. It's going to put them down to 11. King Grunn next turn, Hero's Blade, Blossoming Defense. I think we're okay with that. Do we want to leave up Sylvan? No, that's fine. That's going to make them losing a little bit more life off that one. Yeah, that's okay. Put them down to 11. If we had some open mana, we could have made it a little bit hard for our opponent and giving that extra toughness on that one. That'd been kind of fun to go for a line of play like that. But I think we'll be okay going for a Grunn. All right, we're going to have 2 damage being dealt to us. We'll put us down to 24. We're going to click OK on that one. There we go. And let's see what we draw into. Draw into Nature's Way. I'm just going to go for... Let's go and get down Forest. Let's go for Exploration. That's going to be 1, 2... Be able to get an additional land drop down with Rogue's Passage. Do we want to go and go for Grunn? Yeah, let's go and do that. We still have Naturalize in the hand, so if we want to take care of that, we can go. Let's go click on Grunn. There we go. That's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that'll leave up 1 more mana to go for Blossoming Defense. All right, we're going to go and equip that on there. Yes. And then anything else, we're going to go and pass the turn to our opponent. So at this point right now, our opponent does have some sort of spot removal. They will be able to take care of Grunn. But if they have a board wipe, that'll take care of it. But if they do have spot removal, we still have Blossoming Defense to kind of go for that. And then if they don't have that, that's going to allow us to at least swing in next turn and close the game out with Blossoming Defense, depending on how we get that stack going. Okay, opponent's gonna go for Toxic Deluge, dropping them all the way down to 4. So if we go for a Blossoming Defense, yeah, let's go for it. It's gonna be 1, 2, choose Grunn. That's going to be 1 green mana. It's going to put him at a 10-9 on this one. We're going to be able to escape from that Toxic Deluge. So see if they have anything else in response. Now, what they can do is with Toxic Deluge on the stack, we have Blossoming Defense on the stack. If they do have spot removal, they can cast it in response to that. But with that resolving, then we should be good to go on the following turn. All right, Toxic for 7. They could have it like Languish or something like that. That would definitely kind of make it a little bit hard for us if they do have Languish. But at least at this point, it looks like we're going to be able to swing in with Grunn. Okay, our opponent's going to go for Knight of Soul's Betrayal, which is going to put us at, just barely at a 2-1. So glad we had that Blossoming Defense. Okay, and then they're going to go and pass the turn. We also still have Predator Strike in the hand, so that's something that we can give an additional bonus to Grunn. But with our opponent being tapped out, hopefully we're going to be able to swing in. Now, we do have to watch out for the, I cannot remember the name of it, but the spell that as long as you control a swamp, well, you have to pay 4 life. So either way, we're going to be good to go on this one. Let's go and push in. We're going to swing in with the Grunn. We're going to get that power and toughness doubled to 14 coming across, and that will be lethal damage to our opponent, putting them down to -10. There we go. Now, that will be no mercy on there and destroy it, but King Grunn already swung the hammer, and it's going to allow us to close the game out on Mogis. In fact, if you enjoyed the video, like and subscribe. Thanks. Bye. Welcome to King Grunn. As far as opening hand goes, I love it. It looks great. We've got 4 lands in Llano War Elves. We're going to keep on this one. All right, let's go and get down 4. So we're going to go for Llano War Elves, tap out for 1 green, and then anything else. We're going to go and pass the turn to our opponent. We were playing King Grunn. He's not the lonely king during this match. Kicker 3. If King Grunn was kicked, it enters the battlefield with 5 additional +1 counters on it, or 5 +1 counters on it. And then whenever Grunn attacks alone, double its power and toughness until end of turn. Playing against Mogis, God of Metal. Cover that in just a second. Let's go ahead and go for Forest. Yeah, I think that sounds good. We'll go for Forest. Let's go and go for Key to the City. We'll go and tap down Llano War Elves, and then anything else. Pass the turn to our opponent. Playing against Mogis, God of Slaughter, God of Metal, if you're a Metal fan of the channel. Indestructible Devotion 7 turns into a creature. Then, at the beginning of each opponent's upkeep, Mogis deals 2 damage to that player unless they sacrifice a creature. So, with this particular build of Grunn, we're definitely going to be taking that 2 damage every single turn. Now, next turn, we're looking at getting down Force. That will give us 4 total mana, and we'll be slowly working towards Grunn. But as far as the deck goes, if you didn't see the deck tag, this is pretty much just Monkey Voltron. We're going to have Grunn start swinging in. It's kind of, I like to think of it as like Infect. For commander, or at least 1 versus 1 commander. It's pretty fun. I was going to go for Force. Let's go and get down Paragon. I think that sounds good. Tap out for 1 green off Llano War Elves. All right, get down Paragon, and then anything else, we're going to pass the turn to our opponent. Paragon in this deck's actually really well, because one of the things that you want to do with Grunn is if you're going to go for that kicker, we're running a lot of ramp. You can see we have Llano War Elves. Unfortunately, we don't have a lot of stuff like Cultivate in the hand, but it's in here. But what we want to do is we want to ramp a lot. We want to get in a spot where we can go for that kicker on Grunn. So we're looking at about 9 mana. And having stuff on the battlefield like Paragon, that puts us in the position of we're going to be able to start swinging in for 11, and that's going to double to 22. We're looking to one-shot our opponent as much as possible. That's what we're going to go for. There will be some situations where we get down Grunn and we start swinging in. Like our opponent right now, if they don't really get that good of a board state developed, we may end up tapping out for Grunn and not going for that kicker. But in certain scenarios, let's say that we do have a haste option on the battlefield, getting Grunn down and swinging in for lethal commander damage, it's definitely one of our main game plans. All right, let's go and get down 4. Well, actually, let's go and go for... Yeah, let's do this. Let's go and go for Harmonize. This is going to be 1, 2, 3. We can always make the land drop off the forest in case we draw into another land or something we want to get down. We can at least get that down and then also start going for Grunn after that. All right, draw into another land. Let's go and go for Forest off this one. And then I guess at this point, yeah, I don't mind swinging in for 2. If we can get our opponent in spots where maybe we can't deal commander damage, but we can slowly start working at their life total, that'll be pretty good for us. All right, swinging in for 2, going to put them down to 29, and then anything else, we're going to go and pass the turn. Now, another good thing in this Grunn deck is going to be Trample. As you can tell, simply getting down Grunn, putting down Rancor on him, that's going to be +2/+0, and giving it Trample, that's going to be more than enough for us to, either deal combat damage with commander damage, or simply just start really working at our opponent's life total. We also have some fun instants in here. We do have Berserk in here. We do have some protection for Grunn. That's going to be Blossoming Defense and then Hepatra's Mask. There's just a whole slew of stuff that we can kind of get going to kind of surprise our opponent. That's why I was kind of comparing it to Infect in Modern, is that instead of going for 10 Infect, we're going for 21 commander damage. And so it kind of plays out similar like that, to where you're going to have these turns to where you're, no, we're not going to sacrifice a creature. No, we're taking the 2. King Grunn's not going to do that. Let's go and go for Forest. And then, yeah, I think at this point, I really do like swinging in with Grunn. That's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, we don't really have that much of an accelerant at this point right now. So getting Grunn down is A-okay with me. All right, let's go and push him for 2 with a Paragon. It's going to be swinging in for 2, and then anything else we're going to pass the turn. Now, one thing that you do need to watch out with Grunn is that if you're going to go for a really big turn, you can't swing in with all your creatures. You have to send in Grunn by himself. So, but also, this is what makes Paragon of Eternal Wild so good in this deck. First of all, look how good the art looks. I love that. That green and all those animals right there. Oh, looks pretty good. But you're also going to be able to go for that green activation. Another target green creature control gains trample until end of turn. So it's another way for us to give a good bonus to Grunn and at the same time give Grunn trample once we're swinging in for a lot of damage. But actually Paragon, it reminds me, so I've been playing Dungeons & Dragons. I'm about 2 sessions in, and I ended up building a druid character. And once you get to level 2, you have to pick a druid circle that you align with. Now I've played Dungeons & Dragons before, but I use that term very, very loosely. In fact, I've been a dungeon master. But what we would do is it was really just more of us hanging out and having a few drinks, and then we would just roll a d20 to kind of decide how stuff went. You know, you'd maybe have about three stats to choose from. You know, we didn't worry about attack hit or hit die, HP or anything like that. It was just kind of like, you know, here's a scenario. What would y'all do in this scenario? And then we'll roll to kind of see the outcome. So that's been my experience with Dungeons. So I'm actually playing 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons. It's been a lot of fun so far. Opponent's going to get down Spiteful Visions. I'll cover that, the rest of that in just a second. Draw a card. It does 1 damage to that player. Okay, all right. Opponent's going to kick it back over to us. We're going to have that Mogis trigger. No, we're going to go ahead and take 2 on this one. We're fine with that. And then we draw into Asceticism. Now that will be a little bit of extra damage on us off Spiteful Visions, drawing into that card. But at least for us at this point right now, our opponent only has 1 land up. We're definitely going to go for Asceticism. That's going to allow us 2 things. It's going to allow us to get an additional bonus for Grunn, and at the same time give that give us hexproof, and at the same time we can regenerate it if we need to. Let's go and get down Forest, and then at this point, so we're going to be able to go for Rancor. That's going to be 6. This is going to be an 8/6. That's going to be a 9/6. It's going to be swinging across for 18. That's not going to be just enough commander damage, swinging alone on that. We'll get kind of close. That'll be 9, but I don't think we can get to 10 at this point right now, because it's going to be 8, 9, and then 10 with Paragon. That's not going to be enough. So let's do this. Let's go and go for Asceticism. That way it's going to give us a little bit of protection for Grunn, and then next turn we should be able to kind of clean it up from there. In fact, let's go and put Rancor on there. We'll still get that additional bonus, and let's go and push across on this one. All right. Swing in with Grunn. It's going to be able to come across for an 8/6. And we're going to go for a Paragon activation. We'll try and get as much life total down as possible. There we go. All right. That's going to be 16 coming across. It's going to put them down to 11. And then anything else. Now we're going to go and pass turn to our opponent. Now actually, I kind of... I got down Asceticism to leave up that Regenerate in case our opponent has a board wipe. And I just, next thing you know, I clicked on Rancor and I just threw it on there. So that was kind of a little bit of motor skills on that one. I've been practicing this deck all morning, so I just kind of I've been used to dumping cards out of my hand. So the better line of play that turn was to definitely just swing in, get in a good chunk of damage, and then leave up a Regenerate target creature. So, but if they have Damnation or something, we still would have been wouldn't have been able to get out from underneath that Regeneration. So, but I would have liked to play that last turn out differently. That's what I would have done. But as far as my character goes, so I'm playing a Druid, and long story short, I'm playing Kamal, and so. You know, my backstory is he used to be a pit fighter and then turned into a druid. Now I'm kind of deviating from the magic story just a little bit. I'm gonna have him kind of become like a Golgari style druid, to where they, really encompass the Golgari, whatever word I'm looking for, just the overall thing that they stand for, and just life and death. Opponent's gonna go for Bantu's last. Yep, there we go. We should have done that. Should have left up that Asceticism. Sorry about that. I don't know what it was. I just windmill slammed Rancor down. I was like, dang it, we needed that extra mana. But hey, we'll get out from underneath this. We can make it work. At least we can still get down Forest, and then go for get down Tireless Tracker. Start getting a little bit of extra value. Who knows? We might be able to go for Tireless Tracker, Rancor, and then get the game out from there. All right, opponent's going to draw an additional card, deal 1 damage to us. Each player's draw step. Yeah, and actually that Spiteful Visions might help us get some good stuff going. All right, in fact, let's go and do this. Let's go for Tireless Tracker. That's going to be 1, 2, 3. Let's go and go for Forest. Get that clue token down. And then let's go and go for, do we want to go for Cultivate? That's going to give us a few more lands next turn. And that's going to put us at, we might be able to, that's going to be 1-2 off the clue tokens. That's going to make it a 5-2. Ranker is going to make it 7-8. Yeah, let's do this. Let's go for Cultivate. That's going to give us a few more options the next turn. And it'll give us a few more lands too. Let's get down forest. Let's grab another forest. Put that on the battlefield. That one goes into our hand. We'll get another clue token off that. And then I guess to do the best use of our mana, let's go and put Ranker on Tireless Tracker. Okay. And then anything else, we're going to pass turn to our opponent. So Tireless Tracker is sitting at a 5-2. We get the land drop down next turn. That's going to be basically putting it at an 8-2, which would be almost enough to kind of swing in and do that combat damage. And then actually we should have just enough combat damage to deal the unnatural predation onto Tireless Tracker, or excuse me, with the Spiteful Visions. It's going to deal that damage, hopefully kind of putting us into lethal though. So we'll see what's going on. But yeah, as far as my character goes, so it's going to be your normal kind of plant druid, kind of more from the forest. But I'm also going to incorporate some sort of kind of like an undead theme. You know, if we kill some people, not some people, but like some NPCs or something, or some monsters or something out of the forest, that I would be able to have that option to kind of either reanimate that, or just kind of do something along the lines that the Golgari would do, maybe something with some fungus or something like that. I think I looked it up earlier. There's a custom druid circle. But yeah, this is my first time playing it, and like playing legit Dungeons and Dragons. It's pretty cool. And in fact, if you have a character, I know I said this one time, but if you have a character you want to tell me about, hop in the comments. I like reading that stuff. I read your comments throughout the day. That's kind of what gets me through work. So if you have a Dungeons and Dragons character or a story you want to tell me about, hop in there. I will read it. I promise. What was that druid circle? Typed in druid necromancer. I'm kind of looking it up on my seconds. There we go. Circle of Rot. And so with the Circle of Rot, they do have a spell called Refreshing Rot, Fungal Growth, Rotten Growth, and Become One with Decay. So it's a real interesting thing. So I think that's what I'm going to kind of shift my character into. Not necessarily keeping in line with what Kamal is, where he's just a straight forest one, but just simply, it's Dungeons and Dragons. You can do whatever you want. Maybe Kamal somehow walked his way over to Ravnik or something, became a Golgari clansman. Who knows? That's what makes Magic fun. So that's at least what I'm going for at this point right now. All right, but I'm just going to get down, and Mogis will turn online. That will be a 7-5. Now, can we deal enough 5 coming across on that one? Forgot about Underworld Connection. We'll see what we can get into, though. At least, actually, at this point, yeah, with Key to the City, discard a card, and we're going to make Tireless Tracker unblockable. So we should be able to go ahead and close it out on this one. We're going to have that extra 2 damage be dealt to us. That's going to put us down to 18. But we're going to be able to get it through with Tireless Tracker on this one. All right, drawn to Black Blade Reforged. That's going to be additional damage off Spiteful Visions. Now, Black Blade Reforged is really good in this deck, but I can't tell you how many times I'm getting ready to equip it, and then I forget that you have to equip it to a legendary creature for 3, so can't use it in a scenario like this. Let's go ahead and get down Forest. Let's go ahead and go for Key to the City on Tireless Tracker. Go for that. We'll go and get rid of, like I said, at this point, we have enough forest. We'll get rid of forest on that one. It's going to be unblockable. Let's crack a clue token. That's going to be 1-2. We're going to be able to draw an additional card, too, off of that. Puts it at a 6-3. Draw into forest. It's going to put us, oh, there we go. Glad we didn't have anything main phase that we needed to go for. I accidentally double-click the F2 button. Draw an additional card. That's going to be Swiftfoot Boots, and puts us down to 14. All right, let's go and push in. We got Tireless Tracker, unblockable for a 7-4. It's going to be exactly lethal. Turning the sound off to the Mogis God of Metal concert. Sorry, Mogis. That seems to happen to me a lot when I'm playing Mogis. They always turn the power off on the concert. It's always a bummer. All right, we're about to get it rocking, but yeah, good game so far. All right, there we go. Swinging for lethal. It's going to put our opponent down to 0. Good game to our opponent. Definitely enjoyed it. Sorry that Mogis didn't really get off to a good start, but if our opponent had any sort of wheel effects, maybe 1 or 2 of them, we're only sitting at 14. So with that Spiteful Visions out there, definitely could have put in a lot more work than what we saw from Mogis. But if you enjoyed the video, like and subscribe. Thanks. Bye.